My name is Ikechukwu Friday Ezeugo. I'm a PhD student of Texila American University. My project is on a critical review of a research report titled Operations Mechanism of the Driving Force System of the Ecosystem of the Cyber Society based on the system dynamics. This is not an original work, but an academic research work based on academic writing critiquing. I'm giving the backgrounds of this. And also, the article is focused on reviewing cyber society ecosystems. And it wants to describe the phenomenon as made of mixture of participants that interact for multiple purposes, just as in the natural ecosystem. The article is trying to explore the understanding of the functioning of the cyber society ecosystem driving forces. Its aim is to construct enhanced knowledge for ensuring a healthy, resilient, more efficient, and satisfying cyber society ecosystem. In a system like this, there will be two backgrounds. The background is about the article being reviewed, the first background. Then the second background is about the project itself. The essence of this project is that if you check most of the work we do in the coursework in PhD studies is about academic article review. And the reason for doing this is because we live in a dispensation where many people are compelled to engage in academic exercises, research exercises, either because it's a requirement by their course to deliver papers, or they need to do that to be able to keep up their job. And sometimes they churn out articles that are not properly done, and that will continue to lower the standard of academic research reports. So review has become a very, very critical part of academic work, because it's only when academic works are reviewed critically that the reliability of that work can be ascertained. And that's what I try to do in this project. Now, a little more on the background also is talking about cyber society. If we check in the present day world, by reason of the persistent ICT innovations and society embrace of ICT, our traditional society has greatly evolved socioculturally, and is now stabilizing at a point that is popularly described as cyber society. Many people are trying to take a study of this cyber society to understand its natures, its ecosystem, its driving forces, and how it works. And that's what the author of this article tried to do. Sorry, and then the problem the author of the original article being reviewed tried to do is that it tries to understand that there is a limited understanding of the evolving cyber society phenomenon from the ecosystem perspective. In the research community, there's a lot of work about cyber society evolutions, but not many of that work is available that focuses on the ecosystem perspective of the cyber society. And by this reason, the authors of this article saw a knowledge gap in that area, which they found interesting and they want to close up. Now, on my own part of the work, irrespective of how sound and logical an academic paper is presented, or it may appear, it requires a critical review in a methodical manner before it can be considered as an authoritative addition to the body of knowledge. And that's actually the essence of the work I have done in this project, to be able to take a critical review of what the original authors have presented, to be able to find out whether it agrees with other people's work, whether it meets the standard with respect to presentation of reports, and then with respect to the procedures and presentation for engagement in research work. And in my own review project, the review project will be focusing on aggregating the author's submissions, analyzing the facts that the authors have presented, streamlining the express thought lines that they have shown, now scrutinizing the presentation format, validating the theories and present a report on enhancing the original article's reliability and the quality of the contribution to the body of knowledge. And so the summary of the project is exactly what I have just said before. It focuses on critical analysis of the original article content, and they will be looking at not just the content, we'll be looking at the structures of the article, the relevance of the work in the industry or in the field of study, the novelty of the idea, the originality of the idea, the objectives and the validity of the arguments that the authors have presented, and also the alignment of the research to current research and development interest in the subject area. Cyber society is the subject area. The article strength and the limitations are also part of the things I'll be looking at in this review. I also looked at the contribution of this article to the body of knowledge, which is critical to every academic research work at PhD level. Next slide. So what exactly the article was? If we look at we'll be looking at two basic points when it comes to reviewing academic articles. You are looking at also what the original article wants to solve as a problem and what you yourself, who is doing the critical review, want to solve as a problem. Now, in looking at what the original article wants to solve as a problem in this instance, the original article is looking at the driving force system of the ecosystem of the cyber society, and it wants to analyze it using theories of system dynamics. That's what the authors presented, that they want to analyze this using theories of system dynamics. And the goal is of the researchers was to address the perceived gap in scientific mechanisms or intervention and regulation in the ecosystem of the emerging cyber society. And the whole idea for them is to solve the integration problem of different organizations and forces influencing the ecosystem of the cyber society, assuming there is integration problem anyway, then reduce the cyber society evolution processes and then enhance the driving forces systems to ensure synchronization of orderliness and operations of the driving forces. That's also assuming there is a problem in that angle, because when it comes to academic work, we don't just take things as it is without proving them scientifically. And that's the essence of having a review. Now, strengthening the driving forces to enhance the formation of the speedy development of the ecosystem of the cyber society. That's also assuming it is possible for the driving forces to be strengthened externally. Now, for the methods that I have applied in this study, in an article review, you can only get engaged in laboratory works if the original article itself has some laboratory works. But here, what we do is we take an in-depth study and then critical examination of the original article. We do also extensive study of the referenced materials provided by the original article authors. Then we research and synthesize other academic materials relating to the original article. Some of these will be ideas that we will encounter in the course of studying the article that may not have been properly explained or referenced. Then we also aggregate relevant facts and then comparative analysis with submissions of the related research works, and we analyze the author's presentation style against Texila American University article review standards and other known guidelines for academic writing. That's about the methods. Now, the results that I found in the course of the work is that I saw some gaps in the literature review of the original author. The original author identified two main areas of literature review. One he considered as a primary area, being the cyber society dynamics. Then the second one he considered as the secondary area, which he said is the sociology of networks and then social ecology. The author stated that in these two areas there are articles, but if you look at the title of the article very well, you will notice that it says that it will be reviewing this based on the theories of system dynamics. And in the literature review, there was nothing said about. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you got another 2 more minutes to finish.
Okay. So in the literature review, there was nothing said about system dynamics, which means there was no literature that was reviewed about system dynamics. And most of the times we make these kind of mistakes in our presentation. We present wonderful topics that look so good but broad, but in the course of the work, we are not able to see that those topics are extensively covered as presented, which was what gave people hope to be able to look at that. And also, the author talked about the construct of the driving system of the virtual of the manual system. It proposed that, but from the most of the articles I found in the from the field, it wasn't what they were looking at. Most of the authors were suggesting that the ecosystem of the cyber society is more of an orgasmic approach to motivation, and then is using determination theory as against the manual system that the authors have suggested. And more also in the results, there are some presentations that the authors made that are not what it should be. In one of the presentations, they presented an organogram or a structure where they showed the subsystem of the driving forces under the simulated subsystem of the driving forces and the carrier subsystem of the driving forces, which is not what it's supposed to be. You cannot have a main system, have a subsystem, and then have the main system under a subsystem. I have presented here on what it should look like normally. More also in the results, some of the presumptions about the dynamics of the ecosystems that the authors have presented cannot be backed by the theories of the system dynamics that they claimed they used to do the research. There is no mathematical backing, there is no references or inferences from the theories of system dynamics, but what they presented looks so wonderful and so logical. And in my conclusion, I have looked at, in the project, I have looked at the article content, the structures, the relevance, the novelty of the idea, the objectives and validity of the submissions, alignments, and current research and development interest in the research area. And some of the things, for example, in the report presentation was excellent, but the quality of the contribution to the body of knowledge was not completely in line with existing literatures in those areas. These are some of the things I found. And my future, for future works in this is that some of the ideas or presumptions I have made based on the findings I made still require further investigation so that it could be authoritatively used as scientific evidence. And the major fact that underline this work is to be able to help us to monitor the quality of academic work being presented or churned out from different quarters, because people who are studying or who are lecturing are being put under pressure to write research papers. And most of the times, the research papers they write do not have or meet the standard that is expected of those papers. And that's the essence of academic critiquing, which I have done on this particular project. And this finding has helped to show the level of reliability of this particular work. And this, if it is applied to most of our works, will we begin to have better quality of academic articles. I want to thank you for your time. My name again is Ikechukwu Friday Ezeugo. Thank you very much.